Hello and welcome to Glorious Marriage. We're Johnny and Lori Thomason, and we're going to be with you folks for these next several minutes, going over some things to help you and your spouse to have a glorious marriage.
Hey, that's right, man. Last week, you and I went over some things for husbands and wives concerning how one of a man's needs is to have a buddy,
A best friend.
Yeah. Somebody to pal around with, and we prefer our women, our wives. And it's a pretty good program. I hope that helped a lot of people. I hope you women, want to pal around with your man and do buddy stuff and fun stuff and this and that. And I hope that works. Hope that helps. Now this week we're going to go over some things on how Christian couples can be romantic. Romance. And I know, men, the first thing that comes into your head is sex, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about romancing your wife. I want you to think about the things you did whenever y'all were courting, whenever you very first started your relationship, when you began the pursuit.
Yeah.
When you began the pursuit, I want you to think about that. And I know a lot of you are doing it. A lot of you are doing the things. You're being romantic, but that's a need of a woman, is to be romantic. And Lori and I are going to talk about some things that women like. It's a need of a woman. And men have this mindset a lot of times for whatever reason that it's always sexual, and it can be, but it's not.
Yeah.
Romance is the way I show I love you. And the question is this: what says I love you to you?
Yes.
That's a question that...
That's a very important question, and it can eliminate a lot of frustration in your marriage if you find that out early on, because and I say eliminate some frustration, because how frustrating is it, or would it be, to, let's say, to a husband, if you're constantly buying a gift, and your wife says thank you. Most people would say thank you.
Yeah, most people like a gift.
But maybe her love language is truly a time. I want to spend time with you. Thanks for the gift. I mean, that's a nice thought, but if that's all you're doing, if you're just buying a gift and not spending any time, then it can be kind of frustrating when you're like, well, wait a minute, I bought you a gift. What more do you want? Well, I want you. I want more of you. I want more of your time.
Yeah.
I want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
And that, it can go, that goes both ways. I mean, we both need to be looking into this for both our husbands and our wives.
Right.
But it is very important to be able to identify what says I love you to you, and cut out that frustration of guessing or hitting the mark or shooting for the mark but not quite hitting it, because it's not
That's a powerful statement. Yeah. What says I love you to you? I mean, you have to stop and think about that.
Well, Johnny, just you saying, if you ask me that, what says I love you to me? So
what does that entail?
Yeah, what does that entail to each?
This is a good communication. This is a good thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Husbands and wives. What says I love you to you?
Yeah, and you know what? It changes over time.
Yep.
Our priorities change as we age, and as we, I don't want to say become familiar with one another, because familiarity can be bad, but I'm saying as we get to know each other more, the things that we like to do together change. And, you and I, one of the things that we like to do a lot of times when we go on a vacation, on a trip, a lot of times we will intentionally pick somewhere with a hiking trail or something like that, but that hasn't always said I love you to you. That's not been something that you've always wanted to do. But now it does.
It's changed.
It's changed. Your priorities have changed, and so as we go through different things, as we age, mature, whatever, experience different things, our goals change, our outlook changes. The things that we maybe once enjoyed we don't enjoy so much anymore. And that's okay. We're all just kind of a work in progress, but
Well,
that's
fact.
okay. But the main thing is that we have to stay in communication with each other, because if, let's say, if you were still, really like into avidly hunting, and as all I was buying you was hunting gear, that's not really what you do anymore. You was like, well, thanks, but when am I going to use this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, true.
So it would be, like I said, you would appreciate it, but I would do myself a whole lot better to really be studying you more, to say, oh, when was the last time he did that? Maybe I shouldn't get this for him, so.
So what we're talking about today is finding out about your spouse and you answering the question, what says I love you to you?
Yeah.
And so we're talking about romance, and we're talking about men romancing their wives, showing affection, non-sexual, without having sex on your mind. Now, if it leads to that, that's okay. But I'm saying that's not the purpose of romance. Romance is to show you I love you. One of the ways to find out about that is this thing called love language. What is your love language? There's ways you can find that out. I think the last time we looked online, I think it cost to do the little evaluation. But I mean, if you could find the old one, you don't. It's find out your partner's love language, your spouse's love language. That helps a lot. Also, in the series of classes that I've been taking lately on marriage and stuff like that, it's always good to find out what pleases your spouse. So what love language is the way you receive love, what makes you happy. If you like to receive gifts, if you like time, if you like affirmation, if you like touching, these type things are your love language. What says I love you to you? But also, it's good to find out what your spouse acts of service. What like if I'm going to show Lori I love her, what do I like to do to show her I love her? See what I'm saying? Do I like to go buy her? Do I like to shop for her? Do I like to serve her? Do I like to make things for her? How do I like to do that? That's always part of romance, and finding out what your spouse does in order to please you, in other words, to serve you, if that makes sense. Help me out with that. Try to explain that. And I know we've often talked about find out your spouse's love language and then act on it, but then there's also that part, what does your spouse prefer on how to show you I love you?
Yeah.
How do I serve you? Does that make sense?
Yeah. What does that look like to you?
Yeah, what does that look like?
So, gifts, again, gifts that's a wide range.
Yeah.
Is it jewelry? Is it flowers? Is it bakeware?
Yeah.
We've joked before, one of my most favorite Christmas presents that you gave me was several years ago, and you bought me a stand mixer, and that's what I've been wanting. And then we had heard there was a teaching, and it was like, man, don't be buying your wife's appliances and stuff. Nobody wants that for a gift. That's not a good gift. And I looked at you and I said, whoa, no, I loved it. Thank you so much. Don't listen to this guy, because that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
And that's where that communication comes into.
Yes, because each person, we're not cookie cutters.
Right.
It's not a cookie cutter woman and a cookie cutter man, and we just, go down the assembly line and match up like Oreo cookies or something, That's a lame illustration, but I'm saying we're all different, and we've got to, we have to study each other. We have to learn each other.
Correct.
And know what each other likes.
Yeah. And just because my love language says that I like to just spend time with you doesn't mean that I don't like to receive a gift.
Yeah.
Or I don't like to receive a affirming word.
Yeah.
Or to touch my shoulder, or hold hands with me, or put your arm around me, or pet me, or something like that. I mean, all
serve
of these
you
things,
in some way.
It's what you prefer. It's your preferred love language. It's the way you prefer to serve. If I like to show Lori I love her by what? Cooking, like serving her, these type things. And we give tips like this to married couples all the time and stuff like that. And it's like, well, I don't know how to be romantic. Well, no, you do too. You go back to whenever you were pursuing one another.
Yeah.
How did you act? What did you do? How did you dress? How did you try to win them when you were pursuing them?
Yeah.
You need to go back to that. And you can talk and ask these questions and stuff. See, this is a beautiful thing. It helps you to communicate. You'll talk to one another. You'll get to talk about what says I love you to you. And this may be tough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, really, when you're getting right down to it, it might be tough because people get in a lifestyle, a rut. They get in this fast-paced life that we live as Americans.
Yeah.
And you're doing good things and you're good people. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, what says I love you to you?
Yeah. Well, and can I just give a word of warning? If you haven't done this, if you haven't actively practiced romance and pursuing over your years together, when you start, A, it's going to feel awkward, and B, your spouse may kind of receive it with some wariness, kind of like, why is he doing that now all of a sudden? I wonder what's up. Why is she acting like that all of a sudden? Why is she, you know? So it can cause a little bit of like, that's suspicious,
that goes back to where you need to communicate.
But that,
and
exactly.
that also may go back to where you need to repent for not
Yeah.
actively romancing your spouse,
Yeah.
romancing your wife. And I'm talking to husbands.
Yeah.
Husbands, you need to actively be romancing your spouse. And like last week's program, we talked about wives not being your husband's best friend.
Yeah.
Not doing things with him that he likes, like being his buddy, his pal, that sort of thing. You know, and I don't think we said that last week, but there might be a time to repent. That means turn from and apologize for. Like, I didn't know that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that, you know,
That it meant that much.
that it
to
meant
you.
that meant to you. But
Yeah.
it does. I mean, it just simply does. And
Yeah.
then wives need romance.
Mm-hmm.
Wives need to be pursued. Wives need to know that they're worthy, that they're still the apple in your eye. They need to know, and they can't just assume that you love them. And you may tell her you love her every day. I don't know, but I'm just saying, actively pursue them, actively love them, show them, do stuff for them, find out their love language, find out what says I love you to you, and act upon it.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as, and you can communicate. You can absolutely communicate. Say, babe, you know what? I hadn't been as romantic as I should be, and I'm going to work on that. And I'm just giving you a heads up. So what says I love you to you? And then this is good conversation. These will take you back to some conversations that a lot of people hadn't had lately because of life.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, life is busy. You're training children, you're serving in ministry, you're working, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this, you're doing that. And that's why we say go back to dating one another. Go back to having that special time. Go back to the special movie, the special out to eat, the whatever it is you do, the walks at the park, going feeding the ducks, I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing things
Sharing
out there.
life.
Just sharing life.
Sharing your life.
Meaningful.
Yeah.
Going to play golf if that's what you hadn't done in a while, or taking a walk or a hike or taking a vacation or taking a night off. Send the kids to grandma's house and go get a room at Airbnb or something for the night. I mean, we're just doing a lot of stuff out there for romance. And I'm not talking about sex, I'm talking romance. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And men, we can't always have that on our mind. And I know that's the way it is and that's the way you think. But romance. Your wife needs romance. So anyway, I hope this helps somebody out. Man, we're just about out of time, Lori. That clock just ticks all the time.
So
hey,
fast.
YouTube page real quick. Oh, we don't have time, but check this out. Go throw another log on the fire.